Well, might as well get this started. Welcome everyone to a brief stream here. We're gonna try and play around with some stuff here. So, if you haven't seen the other video I did, where I basically created a faucet for Cardano Network for processing pocket change by someone sending ADA to it. This is what it kind of does here. So we've got, see if I can move this over so you can see this here. Maybe this is gonna work. Alright. Should be good? Yeah, sure. Okay. So this is the node sitting here, and it's been processing transactions. So it's got people's addresses, sending them money, etc. So it's been running quite well. We had a hiccup there a couple days ago, and I think I figured out what caused it. So, and I know why it did it. I'm going to try to rewrite this faucet so that I can kind of try to prevent the problem from happening. The problem was that if some error occurred, I have no real error handling in it as it stands, and something happened where it didn't send a transaction and it stopped. However, it didn't save that it processed any of the previous transactions. So when it restarted, when I was trying to figure out what was going on, it resent, and someone won the lottery. So we are going to try and fix this. So let's just do an outline of what we have to do here. So we want to have we need a local transaction history, new transactions. So we have a status of 0 is unsent, status 1 equals sent, and then, oh, that is not what I wanted to do. Alright, there we go. And then we're going to create this list, and it's basically going to be like a database, right? Where we're just going to store the ID, the amount of Lovelace that was received, get the sender's address, and set the status, right? So we're going to have this test data, and so it's going to look something like this. It's going to have ID, and then it'll have like address, whatever, and then it's going to have amount, and it'll be like 71223, and it's going to have the what was the other thing? What else did we want? Address? Or sorry, that's the, no, this is the ID, so this is like a transaction hash. And then we have the sender, which is address something, and then status of 0, right? And so this would be, we're going to just basically get all the new transactions, dump them into here, set them to status to 0. If we haven't, we have to check this. So it's going to look something like this. I'm just going to copy this, and then I'm going to delete this here, and I'm just going to go like this. So we're going to, we're going to have 2 loops. So the first one is we're going to get new transactions, add new ones with status of 0 for all the new transactions that have come in. Alright. So we want to, we're going to get local DB, get new TX list, process new unprocessed TXs, and insert into local DB, save. Alright, so that should give us a constant status of transactions. So we will always know what we have not processed, regardless if it errors during sending or whatever. We'll just save the database every single time that we go to send a transaction. So we're probably going to need a send. Let's see here. Let's think about how we're going to send each one. So we know each time that we read or that we want to process a transaction, we're going to have to get a list of all of the transactions. And we'll just pull one. Alright, so we're going to create an async function called read local db. And we're going to need db is going to be an array. And we're going to go await file system promises read file, and I want to do tx history is what we have right now. This is just a this is actually a copy of what we've done at a certain stage of for the current Faucet, just so I have it's what I'm expecting to come from the wallet, so I have something to work with. And we're going to set this in encoding is UTF-8, so we get a string, and we're going to say dbjson is this, and then we're going to go, nope, not that. db is json parse dbjson. Alright, so we're going to read the local database and set it as our current database, which is this. Alright. So we're going to be doing this often. So we're also going to need a async function write local db, and we're going to await fs promises write file tx history json stringify db. Alright, so now we're gonna save it. So there's our database stuff. So now I'm just gonna create an async function called get new transactions from wallet, and I'm going to right now ntx list is going to be an array right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to var tx json is await fs promises read file, and this is that's not what I want. I want, this is the wrong file. This is test data, not that. And tx history, this is this. No, this is test data.json. Alright. This is txhistory.json. Encoding is UTF. The reason why we do UTF-8, come on, is it will force it to return a string instead of a buffer. Figured that out the hard way. And then we're going to do ntx list equals json parse txjson. Alright. So that's how we get the new transaction. So we're going to create a async function called, I don't know if they all have to be async yet. We're going to find out later. Might as well put it in there while we're there. In case we're doing any reading, writing, and stuff, I can use that and include this kind of waiting stuff. We're going to process new transactions. And so we're going to, for var I equals 0, I is less than ntx list length, I plus plus. So we're going to go through every single new transaction. We are going to, we're going to read the local DB. Alright, so we're going to read the what we have, and we're going to await this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go, we're going to create a list, txid list, txdb IDs is going to be an array, and we're going to go for var I equals 0, I less than db length, I plus plus. We're just going to say if db direction equals income, come on, incoming, I want to do we want to do something like db push, and we're gonna go, we want the dbi, come on, ID. So we're gonna push the ID to this, not to that, to this. There we go. Alright, so that will give us a list of all the IDs that we have. So now we can check against that list. So we can say if, we're just going to, actually, tx is going to be ntx list I, so that we have a reference. We don't have to use brackets all day. If not tx, nope, what am I looking for? txdb IDs includes txid. So this will tell us if the current ID of the new one is not in my list, I'm going to go db push, and then I'm going to steal this, and we're going to build one. So we're going to add one, and we want the tx ID. The amount is the tx amount. Do I have this open still? No. Formatter, I forget what the, let's just pull one of these out. So what you can see here is I'm just processing the JSON here. So I can see what, this is just one transaction in the list. So I am looking for, go back to my code here. So I'm looking for the amount. So the amount is in whatever we're in, amount quantity. So I want amount dot quantity. Sender. Okay, so we have to get the sender address. And for this, I'm going to cheat, and I already have this in here. I'm going to grab the old code that grabs the sender address. And we're going to go like this. This is from the previous video. It should be recognizable. Alright, so I reference my TX. Change this a bit here. This is TX, not TXI. Okay, so that should give us the sender address. Okay, and the status is 0. Alright, and we'll do this. Okay, so that's going to push all the new ones. Once we are done, we're going to save. Ooh, come on. Oh, right local. Right local DB. Oh, wait. Okay, so there we go. So now we're going to read, create our list, go through all the new transactions. We need to await get new transactions from wallet. And we're going to go through our list. If the IDs does not include the transaction we are on from the new transactions ID, get the sender address, push a new transaction to the DB, and then we're going to write it. So now this is going to give us our entire list of all the new transactions saved locally, and we don't have to worry about it. Alright, so now get rid of this. So let's see if this works. So we want to run this function here. Includes is not a function. Oops. You know, it helps if I type properly. Okay, there we go. So now test data should have a bunch of stuff in here. So let's go ahead and make this really nice to look at. and we're going to copy this, and we're going to make a new output data. Actually, you know what? We're just going to replace it. Alright, so here's all the transactions. So we've got an incoming amount, has status of 0, has the sender address, the amount, and the transaction ID. That's pretty good. Okay. So, should I save that it's an incoming? Yeah. Direction. TX direction. Let's just beautify this one again. There we go. Okay, so these are all incoming and outgoing. Doesn't matter. I don't know why it's supposed to only deal with incoming, isn't it? Nope, I'm not dealing it. Okay, one sec. Read my database, write it. I have my history, which is my wallet 1. So when I read my local, and I go through, so I have to go through my DB. So when I go through here, if the direction is incoming, we're going to push this. So, okay, so I need to do this. If TX direction is incoming, then we're going to do this. Move this up here. Alright, let's just delete this. What? Overwrite. Oh. It would actually be really interesting if there's a way to, I bet you it does have one too. Anyways. Yeah, okay, there we go. Now we're only doing incoming transactions. Alright. Alright. So all we care about is the incoming transactions, because we can always pull up stats on the wallet at a later time. So let's go ahead and pull out the timers. So the main loop that it's going to have is it's going to be processing the new transactions, right? Once it's done processing the new transactions, we need to create an array of each one. Now, do I have a date in here? Does it have a date? Inserted at time. So I could use that to sort, right? And we could do like oldest to newest. Which really it doesn't matter. We'll just process them all anyways. So you know what? That doesn't matter. We won't worry about that. Let's do this though. Alright. Okay, we won't worry about the date, because we can get the date ourselves. So we're going to process new transactions. So now what we do is we go set timeout. I don't know if we still have to do this anymore. Process new transactions. And like, we'll make it like every 30 seconds. And we're gonna go console log processing new transactions, just for now. So now what this will do is every 30 seconds it will do this. And this is our main loop. So what we'll do is at the end of this, when we write the local database, we are going to get a single transaction and process the payment. So we're going to go, yeah, okay, so that's working. Close. So what we want to do is we are going to, since we've already written to it, we are going to await a function called send process an unsent token amount. Alright. So this function is going to be the fun one. So async function, and then we're going to copy this. Alright, so all we want to do is we want to get a single transaction. So we're going to go for var I equals 0, I less than db length, I plus plus, if db I status is 0, we are going to assign var to send equals an object, and we're just gonna go, actually we'll just go here, we'll make it null for now, I don't need the semicolon. We're gonna go tx to send is equal to dbi, and then we're going to break. Alright, is it break or continue in JavaScript? That I'm gonna have to look up. JavaScript exit for loop. I think it's is jump out of a switch. Break statement can also be used to jump out of a loop. Continue statement breaks on an iteration. Yeah, so it's break. That will exit out. Alright. So there's our transaction. Break just skips doing anything else, goes to the next iteration. So, alright, so what we want to do is we want to take that transaction, and then we're going to process it, and when it's successful, we have to change its status to 1 and save the database. Alright. So we're going to go that's my transaction. Okay, I got an idea. So we're going to await send token to address tx, and this is going to async function here tx. So all we're going to do is we are going to, actually I don't even need this, I can just do this dbi, I can do that and then break. Okay, and then what we'll do is we will say we're going to send this to the address now. Alright, so what we have to do is start grabbing our body. So we need tx body JSON is fs await fs promises read file, and this is tx template.json. This is the exact same thing as I was doing before, where we have our template for all of our stuff, right? Yeah, that's gonna be our fun stuff here. Close this, don't save. Alright. Is that cool? That's all cool. Awesome. Alright, so now what we want to do is we want to go var token template is gonna be JSON parse tx body JSON. Alright, so now the token template address, right, and make sure that we have this in here, yeah, address is going to be the tx, is it sender or address? Sender. Okay, token template, I want the nope, that's not right. Payments. It's where am I? Payments 0. Payments 0 amount, or payment 0 address, right? Okay, and then payments 0. Now we need to set the amount. So this is in assets 0 quantity. So this is assets 0 quantity is going to be okay. So I need to do some calculations here. So first off, we're going to check for minimum value. So I need a constant. Actually, we'll just do it here. We'll go ADA is going to be ADA cent is going to be the TX amount divided by 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. ADA less fees is going to be ADA cent minus, and then we're going to add a fee. That's 2. Config fee. Alright, so now, token to send is going to be, I want to do if the ADA less fee is greater than config max ADA, ADA less fees equals config max ADA. So that's donations, it's handling above donations. If ADA less fees is less than config min ADA, we're going to we have to mark as saved, mark as sent. This is a donation, and then we're going to return. Alright. And this is going to be to do, because we will do that later. Alright, so now we've calculated how much ADA is the thing. We got to figure out the token. So var token to send is going to be the ADA less fees, and I need to do math floor because we're going to divide this by parse float config token value per ADA. Alright, and then this is this. Okay. So let's make a function here. Async function mark as sent txid, and all we're gonna do is we're gonna go through for var I equals 0, I less than db length, I plus plus, if db id is equal to tx id, db I, we want the db I status equals 1, and then we're going to break, and then we're going to write local db. Alright. So there's our function. Alright, and then we're going to await this. Alright. So we're going to do this, and I want to do txid, and that should be it. So we're going to return after that, and we're done. Send token to address. Process unsent token amount. We're done. Mark as sent. Here is this part. Now what we want to do is we want to go and grab our little Axios thing here. So we calculated the amount we're going to send, but now what we need to do is we need to actually send the amount. So we're going to just paste this in here. It's ugly, and we'll clean it up, but I just need to get it in here so I don't have to retype everything. Alright, so here we have the config spending phrase. Template. Headers is that. Console. Okay, so when we do this, we're going to mark as sent, and then txid. Okay, and so whenever we process this, we want to process an unsent token. Let's do await read local db. We're going to read the local db, and we're going to process an unsent token amount. Alright, and then what we'll do is we will do a loop here, and what we're going to do is if ntx list length is greater than 0, or better way maybe, while tx length no, that's not going to work. Is greater than, you know what? What's a good way to do this? I want to go through each one as I get the new transactions. I want to parse the list, save the local database, and then I'm going to iterate through all of the local databases, right, until there's none left. So what we really need to do is this here should only get called after we're done this. So let's comment this out first, and let's do a let's do process unsent transactions, or unsent, yeah, transactions, sure. Alright, so we're gonna do this, and we're gonna go into here, and we're gonna say async function here. I want to read local db, and I want to go or we can go yeah, read local db. I can actually copy this and then go var loop count is going to be 0, and I want to go, if this is here in our database length, if the status is 0, loop count add 1. Alright, so we're going to process unsent transactions, and all we're going to do is we're going to read our database, and we're going to, this is not right, That's not a good way to do it. We're going to read it. And then for each one, if the status is unsent, then we will await process unsent token amount. That's not going to work because we're reading this. We're going to go, why don't we go like this? Since this is doing the function to pull one and send one, we're going to make this, we're going to go here and we're going to return false. Alright. And then we're going to return true. Okay, so while can we do like if process come on, unset token amount we are going to, if we haven't done it, we are going to process unsent transactions. We're just going to call it self. Otherwise, we're going to do something like process unsent transactions. We're going to fire the function. If we get a false value from here, then we're going to do this because we've hit one, right? So this should be firing as long as it doesn't hit this. If it doesn't hit a status that is 0, then this should always work. Okay, so we'll read the database, send it. It marks it as sent here and here. If it's less than, as that, okay. That might actually work. That technically might work. Works first time, right? So we're just going to loop through every transaction, and until we get a return true, we're just going to continually call this function to record one. When we're done, now we're going to set timeout. We're going to go, we're going to call this. Now we're going to call this in 30 seconds. Right? We'll say 20 seconds. Maybe? Alright, so now this is not going to run on this machine. So I can't actually test this yet. But I might do that later. I will have to create a script to automatically go through everything that we have and save this data of everything that we have, as long as we don't get any new transactions. I will just save them as sent, and that way it'll handle any new ones. So that's going to take a little bit of work to try and do that, but I mean, technically it should work. It's just that this data is all going to be wrong because I know these are all sent, so they're all going to be the wrong values, and it's going to duplicate some stuff. So, alright, so hopefully this works. It's a lot different than the other one. Lots of awaiting, but it's got redundancy checks for reading the local database and making sure that we're always marking things and saving things. I believe we're saving everything. Mark as sent, right? Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, it should be saving it, and then every time we need to reference this database, let's make sure that we are reading the database. Mark as sent, doesn't matter. We've already read the database at that point. Send token to address. I mean, should be good. We read the local database, go through the loop. Yeah, everything should be good. Alright, that's all I wanted to go over today. I hope this kind of helps. This is what will be probably in the new Pocket Change faucet for Pocket Town. I hope this one will work a little better, and it'll just be nice to not error and worry about this. We were up till, well, I was up until like 2:15 for a couple days trying to figure this out. The first night was fixing, and then the second night was trying to figure out exactly what happened. And yeah, so I hope this fixes all those problems where things errored and then it would resend because it didn't actually save the updated data. So rather than just dealing with the transactions, then and checking if it exists, we're going to do it this way, where we have a database of status of current transactions and whether they're sent or not, and that way we always have it. No matter if the system dies or something like that, I will have a record of all the transactions on file that I can then process. So I think it should work a lot better. Anyways, thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you guys later, and good luck